big round of applause and welcome to Shannon DeVido.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here. I'm really excited to end this day. It's a beautiful day out, so I'm glad we're not getting rained on. That's a win. Cool. All right, so I'm going to do some stand-up comedy for you. So I know like a lot of you probably feel the same way. People often feel really bad for me, and I often will tell them, don't, really for this one reason. I get to get a Happy Meal whenever I want, and no one looks weirdly at me. It's probably because they think that I have the mentality of a 6-year-old, but I got a prize at the end of my meal, so whatever. I win. I think really weird people are attracted to me, not physically. They just come at me. And I had this really weird guy come up to me once, and he said to me, I know your life is terrible now, but don't worry, soon you'll be dead. And you'll be sitting at the right hand of God. All right, here's the thing. Couple things wrong with that statement. First of all, sir, I'm not sure what you've heard, but I am a terrible person. So if I'm going to be sitting at the right hand of God for literally eating Cheetos all day and watching reruns of The Daily Show, I'm pretty sure that Mother Teresa is going to be pretty pissed off that she lost her spot to a girl in a wheelchair. I was trying to like think of how that would equate to like real life. And the only thing I can think of is like if you were up for a promotion at your job and you stay late and work really, really hard, and then you find out that the boss's daughter, who's in the corner blowing bubbles, got the job over you just for emerging out of a well-chosen uterus. Whatever. So anyway, I broke up with my boyfriend recently. It's cool, don't worry. Just means all this is on the market. 20% metal, or 20% woman, 80% metal, 100% awkward. You're welcome. That's that joke up. You're welcome for that too. Anyway, so I started dating, and I decided to sign up for a dating website because I hate myself. And in fairness to me though, however, at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're alone watching reruns of Law and Order, and you have the idea that, oh, that guy only murdered one person, I'd still date him, then you immediately jump on a computer because your dating standards have reached an all-time low. However, I'm also the person who at 3 a.m. uttered the phrase, yup, I can totally be that buff. And now I'm the proud owner of 7 copies of P90X. So, you know, look for my workout video this fall. Don't, it's gonna be terrible. So I started dating. I met this, I've talked to a few guys online, and I talked to this one guy, and we decided to meet. And we talked a few times on the phone, and I don't know, I forgot to mention the fact that I am in a wheelchair. Whatever, don't judge me, I forgot. So we decided to meet at Applebee's because nothing says romance like being surrounded by high school memorabilia. And so I get there and I see this guy and he's sitting by himself, very well-dressed gentleman, kind of like if you were to cast the most generic guy you could possibly think of, you would pick this guy. And so I go up to him and I said, hey Steve, how you doing? I'm Shannon. And he looks at me and he turns whiter than the Republican National Convention. And stares at me blanker than Kim Kardashian's brain. She's dumb, whatever, you all know it. And finally, after what seemed like 45 minutes, he goes, but you're in a wheelchair. And I went, what? Oh my God, why didn't everybody ever tell me that before? Holy crap, I should probably go get that checked out. I would shake your hand, but I don't want you to catch wheelchair. So I got some cheeseburger sliders and went home. It was awesome. It was one of my best dates, sadly. So I went to school in Nashville. So you know, right off the bat, the IQ level is not really super high. And then I went to state school, so immediately the bar is set down at short bus level. And so I went to school with this girl, and I know that I have a lot of really great friends who challenge me and make me a better person. But I think that we all have that one friend that gets easily distracted by anything shiny or clouds. And this one friend did, and she was probably, she's one of those people that you stand next to, and she's so incredibly beautiful that you feel immediately inferior, but then she opens her mouth and you go, yup, that's why we hang out. She was the dumbest person I've ever met in my entire life. So we were talking one day about, I had a bad experience on a plane, news, and I got a free ticket to the lower 48 states. And I told her this, and she goes, but aren't there 52? And I was like, 52 what, Joni? She's like, 52 states. Okay, I'm interested and concerned. What is the 51st? And she was like, Mexico. And I was like, oh, interesting. No, Mexico's a country. I know that's hard because you live next to a Home Depot. But she was very confused. And so I was like, no, Mexico's a country. And she was like, oh, well, aren't we getting it? Like buying it? Like the Louisiana Purchase? No, Joni, this is not 1812. Thomas Jefferson is not the president. She was very concerned and confused. I still to this day, I'm not sure if she was concerned and confused because 1, there weren't 52 states. 2, she didn't know who Thomas Jefferson was. Or 3, she forgot how to get home. But I'll leave you guys with this story. When I graduated college, I knew that I wanted to be an entertainer because I don't like to eat regularly. And I didn't know where to look for jobs, so I went to the most logical place I could think of, Craigslist. Because I thought in between the guy trying to sell me cats, there would be a job opportunity that said, Steven Spielberg looks for new leading lady, preferably small brunette girl in a wheelchair. It wasn't in there. But I did find a very intriguing ad to be a singer in the U.S. Navy. And I was like, yup, I'm doing that. So I called them up and I was like, hey, Navy, how's it going? I'd like to be in the Navy. And they were like, oh, okay. So they asked me a few questions, and then she said, do you take any medication? And I was like, oh yeah, I take Nexium for acid reflux. Thanks, Spicy Foods. And she was like, oh, okay, well that should be okay. And I'm like, if that's not okay, awkward. So she was like, then she said, do you have any physical restrictions? Now, in my defense, before I could say anything, she starts into a list. She goes, are you hard of hearing? Are you hard of seeing? Are you missing any limbs? Do you have cholera? And she didn't say, are you in a wheelchair? So I was like, nope. Whatever, it wasn't on the list. So she was like, great, come on down, you can be in the Navy. And I was like, sweet. So I was tooling around my house, super psyched, thinking about how awesome I'm gonna look in that little Navy uniform. Kind of like an American Girl doll, only, after the war. And, yeah, let that sink in. And I was thinking about, like, how all the Navy guys were going to come up to me and say things like, hey, did you get your sea wheels yet? And then I'd run them over, because it wasn't funny the first 1,000 times I heard it.